News Services Division of Akashvani presents Northeast Diary.
Good evening and a warm welcome to another episode of Northeast Diary, your window into the vibrant cultures, inspiring stories and unfolding events from the eight jewels of India's Northeast. I'm Vinita Thakur, and in today's program, we bring you highlights from Language and Legacy, a ceremony commemorating the birth anniversary of Pandit Hemchand Goswami. The Deshmukh Hall at the India International Centre in New Delhi resonated with scholarship, music and remembrance on January 9 as a distinguished gathering came together to honour one of Assam's greatest intellectuals, Pandit Hemchand Goswami. On his 154th birth anniversary, the special program aptly titled Language and Legacy. It was organised by the Pandit Hemchand Goswami Trust.
সৌন্দৰ্যৰ বুকুৰ কাছলি উদঙাই প্ৰকৃতিৰ চৌঘৰ চালু পিত পিত কুকুৰা ঠেঙীয়া এই আখৰ কিটিত যি অমিয়া ঘঁহা আছে ক'তো আৰু নাই কবিৰ কুঞ্জত বুলি কত কবিতাই মলয়াত উটি উটি ফুৰে পৃথিৱীত তোমাৰ চিঠিয়ে কিন্তু জানে জিতি গীত কবিতাৰ কাব্যতাৰ গোন্ধকো নাপায় ফুল ফুলে সৰি যায় শুকান বননি বসন্তৰ কুহিপাত ৰ'দত লেৰেলে তোমাৰ চিঠিয়ে প্ৰিয়ে জানে কি মোহিনী নিতো নোহোৱা বাহি ন ন ফুল মেলে য'ত শুঙো চুমা খাওঁ নালাগে আমনি হৃদয়ত হেঁপাহৰ ভোটা তৰা জ্বলে প্ৰিয়তমাৰ চিঠি
Pandit Hemchand Goswami, born in 1872, was a towering figure in Assamese intellectual history, a poet, historian, linguist, and a teacher whose life's work laid the foundations of modern Assamese literary and linguistic scholarship. He facilitated the publication of Hemkosh, the first Assamese dictionary, wrote the first Assamese sonnet, Priyatamar Sithi, and compiled vast linguistic and cultural records that continue to shape the understanding of Assam's heritage. His monumental work, a descriptive catalogue of Assamese manuscripts documenting over 1,500 years of Assamese history through 233 edited chronicles, remain a cornerstone of Assamese studies. The ceremony opened on a serene note with a soulful Saraswati Vandana by Vaidehi Nimgaonkar, setting a reflecting tone for the afternoon. This was followed by the screening of a biographical documentary titled The Greatest Legendary Scholar, Pandit Hemchand Goswami, directed by Tuna Gautam. The film portrayed Goswami as a literary archaeologist who meticulously unearthed and preserved the roots of the Assamese language.
Hemchand Goswami may be looked at as the initiator of the intellectual history of Assamese race, and he had also paved the way for later significant work for the nation in what he said in his addresses. You have not strayed into this world because of concatenation of circumstances, but we have come instead with a noble aim under the great will and dictate of the Creator. When we leave this, it will be at the dictate of the same God, so that leaves us no room for despair.
Welcoming the audience, Dr. Nava Goswami, grandson of Pandit Hemchandra Goswami, spoke about his lifelong mission to preserve and promote his grandfather's legacy. He emphasized the need to connect younger generations with India's rich archival heritage, where science, technology and culture must move forward together. Delivering the keynote address, Shri Parthsarthi Mahanta, IPS, spoke about the immense value of Goswami's work in documenting over 15 centuries of Assamese linguistic history. A highlight of the program was the release of the commemorative book, The Greatest Legendary Scholar Pandit Hemchandra Goswami, by renowned Sarod Maestro Ustad Amjad Ali Khan. The moment symbolized a significant step towards bringing Pandit Goswami's contribution into the wider national consciousness.
Namaskar. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here and to be the son-in-law of Assam. It's nearly going to be 50 years. I was married to Subbalakshmi Barua. I saw her performance in Kolkata, and looking at her, I thought God has sent her for me and for my life. And she is a very big pillar, very big support in our family, because we often feel that music has connected the world. Rhythm has connected the world. Music does not belong to any religion, like flowers, air, water, fire, fragrance, colors. With all due respect to education, education could not create compassion and kindness in a human being. How can be a PhD becomes radical? How can a PhD becomes communal? So thank God I am born in the world of sound. I don't deal with the language. I could not do sadhana of language. It's a different world. My father, my guru, he did not want me to go to school. उन्होंने कहा कि भाई एक जीवन में आप एक चीज समझ सकते हो सिर्फ. You can only understand one thing in one lifetime. You can't be a musician, also become a scholar. So if you want to understand the book, that's a different line. If you want to understand the sound, जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं स्वर ही ईश्वर है.
Eminent literature Shri Suryakant Hazarika added scholarly depth by reflecting on the painstaking research behind the book and the challenge of capturing the life of a thinker far beyond of his time.
Pandit Hemchandra Goswami occupies a revered place in the intellectual history of Assam. A grammarian, an editor and folklorist, a lexicographer and literary performer. He embodied a vision of scholarship that was expansive yet deeply rooted. As a true Pragya Sadhak, his search for meaning enriched Assamese literature and shaped the ethical and narrative foundations of our cultural identity. The release of this English edition serves a dual purpose. It extends Pandit Goswami's influence beyond linguistic and geographical boundaries, enabling scholars across the world to engage with his ideas and methods. In this context, translation becomes far more than a linguistic bridge. It is an intellectual conduit, simplifying cross-cultural scholarship, comparative inquiry, and renewed academic engagement. As the editor of this volume, I view this translation as both a tribute to a master scholar and a multilingual contribution to the humanities. I express my deepest gratitude to the chief guest, whose gracious presence elevates this occasion. His participation symbolizes the harmonious co-experience and art of scholarship, reminding us that the creativity and intellectual are complementary forces that refine collective consciousness. This project would not have been possible without the leadership and sustained guidance of Dr. Nava Goswami, whose vision and commitment were central to bring these works to fruition. I also, my sincere appreciation to the translators, most especially Sri Arkapul Ra Asarya, along with the Pandit Hemchandra Goswami Foundation and the scholars, reviewers, and well-wishers whose dedication has shaped this volume. Their collective efforts reflects a shared commitment to preserving, enriching, and circulating the legacy of truly various visionary thinkers. As we release this book today, let us reflect on the enduring relevance of scholars like Pandit Hemchandra Goswami, thinkers who shaped our cultural consciousness through disciplined inquiry and ethical scholarship. May this work inspire new research, meaningful conversations, and renewed appreciations for the intellectual traditions that continue to define us. Thank you for all of your gracious presence and for being part of the distinguished gathering. Thank you.
As engaging panel discussion followed, moderated by Sunita Bhuiya, exploring how tradition can meaningfully engage with modernity, Dr. Jayanta Biswas Sarma shared insights and messages from the Assam Sahitya Sabha, while Professor Uday Dikshit of IIT Guwahati highlighted ongoing efforts of digitize and preserve ancient manuscripts through collaboration with the Pandit Hemchand Goswami Foundation.
Since last 3 years, we are running a project on Pandit Hemchandra Goswami Mission for popularization of science and Assamese culture. And genesis is like this, that we said that science and culture should not be separated. Okay, it should not be that this is cultural event and this is scientific event. It should go together, and that is the spirit of NEP 2020 also. So we are going to villages, cities, and various places and demonstrating them scientific experiments, hands-on experiment, and also telling about the cultural heritage of Assam together, about the contributions of Pandit Hemchandra Goswami. And we also organized last year a class, the Assam, one essay competition in Assamese as well as English on the life and works of Pandit Hemchandra Goswami, and simultaneously showing them various gadgets. We in fact take trainees from all over the northeast. They keep making the gadgets that is further shown to school students. These type of activities we are doing.
Senior journalist Sangeeta Barua Pishorati underlined the importance of inclusive and diverse cultural narratives.
You know, what is tradition and traditional is, to my mind, will never be out of fashion. But we also need to, from time to time, put a kind of fresh coat, you know, which you're calling it modern. And so, yes, modern it is. So then we need to know also, we need to define what is this modern that we are talking about. So when it comes to language and legacy, then I would say, you know, it would be actually to perhaps, you know, take our stories to also a language which is perhaps has an international reach and scope. And so that is what I try to do. I write in English because that is one way I feel to take the stories of my community, the legacy of my community to a wider world, so to say, and also to the younger generation, whether we like it or not. Even if the youth, you know, Mayur may agree that a lot of these youth, even if they're staying in Assam, their first language now is English when it comes to literature. But that doesn't mean they don't belong, they don't identify with the community, they speak the language. So they also need to then know what is the strength of your community, what are your stories. So that is what I try to do, and I feel that that's one thing we need to do, not only to take our stories to the wider world, but also to include the youth in a language, on a platform that they can identify with. And also I feel this is kind of an appeal to everyone here, that we need to take our stories not only to a language which is, has a wider reach, but also to be published by top publishing houses. That we have to do this. This is something as a community we haven't done. We are far behind in this. I would like to add by saying two things, because we are talking about language. One is that, I feel that my language is unique, and why it is unique I'm often asked. I always talk about the Vela fricative Ho, which is also there in my name. I'm Hongita, Assamese. So that is something which I feel is unique in my language, because it's not that I am saying, so many other people, so many whether self-taught linguists like Devananda Bharali and Kaliram Medhi, or trained linguists like Banikanto Kakuti had said. So this is something I take extreme pride in it. And then the other thing I talk about is also that my language has we need a lot more research, because my language, I feel, has the power to question the existing narrative about how the pre-Vedic Aryans came to what we call Assam today. Because the words that are there, the words that made my language, I feel has that power. So I would like to ask people to, the younger generation particularly, to look further and see what your language has. Thank you for taking a little bit more time.
Historian Mayur Bora traced Goswami's lasting impact on Assamese identity.
In this beautiful afternoon, when you were remembering a polymath who is not only profound, he is not only prolific, he is also prescient. He wanted to see how the Assamese language and literature and the people who will be engaged in Assamese literature and language 30 years, 50 years, 100 years down the line, what they are going to do. And that's why he created an edifice based on which today we are privileged to have organized this program, thanks to Navodaya and all, in the capital of India, that is Delhi. I'll just give you 3 points, quick points. First of all, because Parthasarathi Mohanto and the movie has already spoken about most of the things that should be known about this polymath, Pandit Hemchandra Goswami. 1909, Mahatma Gandhi writes Hind Swaraj in Gujarati, later on translates to other languages. In that particular book, he told about Assamese in absolutely uncharitable terms. It was not before coming to Assam. It was in 1909 on a ship when he was going to South Africa from Great Britain. And it was continuing for quite some time, the narrative of Assamese people not being civilized at all. I don't want to say all those things. But the counter narrative, and the best part, Mahatma Gandhi himself writing in lovely Assam and tendering an unconditional apology to the people of Assam, mentioning about Srimanta Shankardev, that I want to establish a Ram Rajya which Shankardev did 500 years back, is mainly, I will not say only, but mainly because of the meeting between Hemchandra Goswami and Mahatma Gandhi, where he talked about the Gamusa, also about the Katha Gita, and also the glorious tradition of being Assamese. So that was the power and influence of this polymath Hemchandra Goswami. The second point. And even then, he was not overawed by his influence, his clout, his name and reputation, because his love and dedication for Assamese language and whatever he has done to cultivate it, to know it fully, has put him in a pedestal, has also put him on a very firm footing, based on which he effectively established through different initiatives that Assamese is unique, and prose in Assamese dates back to Bhattadev's time, which is 100 years before the Bengali language, and it has been later on endorsed, ratified, indicated by none other than Rabindranath Tagore. All three things because of this polymath called Hemchandra Goswami.
The program concluded with a vibrant musical performance by Sunita Bhuiya and her team, blending poetry by Dr. Bhupen Hazarika, popular songs of Zubin Garg, and a rare composition by Pandit Hemchandra Goswami himself.
The Bard of the Brahmaputra, Bharat Ratna, Dr. Bhupen Hazarika. He completes his 100 years on the 8th of September this year. And it was our honor and privilege to herald his 100th year on 7th September in Mumbai. And that was Zubin Garg's last public performance. So sad, but so happy that we connected to him towards the later part of his life, which we never expected would turn like this. So Bhupenda shouted at the rivers and said, "Vistar hai apar, praja dono par. करे हाहाकार निशब्द सदा ओ गंगा तुम ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों." That was the Hindi version of his original anthem, Burha Luit Hua Kyo. And Bhupenda, like Tagore, they say that if Bhupenda's works were translated at the right time, he would have also got the Nobel Prize. Bhupenda was inspired by his travels by Paul Robeson, who had a song of the river. Old Man River, the old man river, you must say something, but don't say nothing. The old man river, beside hai apar, praja dono par. करे हाहाकार निशब्द सदा ओ गंगा तुम ओ गंगा बहती हो क्यों। Version. Bistinna dupari ashankyo manushe hahatar shunyo nishabde nirabe o ganga tumi o
as guests mingled over high tea, the spirit of the evening lingered. A reminder that the language, scholarship and vision of Pandit Hemchand Goswami continue to illuminate India's cultural landscape. And that brings us to the close of the edition of Northeast Diary. Join us again next week, same day, same time, for more inspiring stories from this enchanting part of India. Until then, I sign off. Goodbye, and do take good care of yourself.
News Services Division of Akashvani presents Northeast Diary.